via Twitter. Like I said, my guest, Professor Dina Pogat. She's the chief historian of Yad Vashem. Prof, welcome to
Thank you.
South Africa.
Thank you, Mr. Tzedo, for having me on this important show.
Now, okay, the 27th indeed is an
Yes.
International Remembrance Day. But why should we bother remembering the Holocaust?
Uh-huh. When you say we,
As
you
a
mean the
people.
world at large?
Yes.
World at large, okay. Indeed, it is not just in order to commemorate or to study or to think about what happened to the Jews. Okay, because during the Holocaust was done to the Jews, the 6 million. But during World War II, what the German regime did, was to kill, to persecute, to humiliate many other people as well. So it is part of a whole complex of what happened, and it is intertwined what was done to the Jews and to others. During World War II, about 60 million, and this is the lowest estimate, million people all over the globe lost their lives. From China and Japan to the islands, to the Japanese island where the Americans were fighting with them. It was a whole world war, and the Germans killed the gypsies, Roma. They killed Slavs by the million. They incarcerated homosexuals, and they died in the concentration camps. So the Holocaust, if you deal with it, you first try to see what happened to the Jews, what happened to others, and then you see that it is relevant for today, for the former decades since the war and today, because what does it stand for? What does it speak about? A regime that swept a cultured society, a charismatic evil leadership, ideology, false ideology of racism that was responsible for World War II because they wanted to rebuild the world according to their racial scale. It stands for so much that is relevant. You can also start by studying about the Holocaust, but then go on and using it as a starting point to study about human rights and minority rights and attitudes to the other and of the individual and democracy.
Okay.
It's relevant.
Okay, let's bring it to South Africa.
Please.
What's the relevance of the Holocaust to South Africa?
Well,
remembering that we also come from another evil system.
Of course. That's it. Exactly. I think that, first of all, South Africa and the Jewish nation have known a trauma, and both nations are coming out of it. We came out of it after we lost a third of our nation.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
We were about close to 18 million. We remained after the Holocaust about 12. We didn't recover so much.
So how many Jews are in the world?
A bit less than 14 million.
40.
14.
14 million
14,
Jews.
1-4, that's all.
But yet you are so...
Conspicuous.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
Well, that's one more point for which we should study about the Holocaust, because it was the murder of a third of a nation that has contributed so much to the world. In Nobel Prizes, in the Bible, in medicine, in art, in everything. We are only 14 million. Sorry to disappoint.
No, well, I'm not disappointed. I mean, in South Africa, we had a student leader last year who was almost crucified for saying he admired Adolf Hitler.
Okay. Did he give his reasons?
Well, he did.
What did he say?
Well, let me not take the time to really focus on his reasons, but are you disappointed that there's somebody like that in the world?
Well, he's not the only one.
Okay.
He's not the only one who has expressed admiration for Hitler, but I don't know him personally, but if I can draw a comparison between him and others who expressed admiration for Hitler, I'm not sure they know. In fact, I am sure they don't know what Hitler was really, what his plans were, And least of all places is South Africa to express such an opinion, because Hitler disregarded not only the Jews, the Roma, the Slavs. He wanted, after having Europe, to deal with on the same way with the blacks, the reds, that's the Indians, the yellows, that's the Far East, but first of all the blacks. They didn't want, there is a clause, you know, that in the Nazi ideology program of the Nazi party, there is a clause speaking about black people who were fighting during World War I. They were brought by the French on German soil. And the clause says that they should be out, first of all. So, had this person known who is Hitler, what his plans were, how many people were made killed and made to suffer, I don't think he would have said that.
Now, you have studied, you are well read. I admire you. You are well read. And you have studied racism and anti-Semitism.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you look at racism, I mean, you come into South Africa at a time when racism is really making headlines, right?
Today?
Yes.
Sure.
Let's talk about racism versus anti-Semitism. Commonalities?
Well, there are. Yes. Well, anti-Semitism has been declared by the United Nations as a form of racism. It is officially one of the forms of racism. We are not exactly, the Jewish people is a bit difficult to define. We are not only a religion, you can say, we are not only a race, you can say. We are not just a nation or an ethnicity, we are all these things together. So, being an anti-Semite is definitely a racist matter. But let me tell you this. There is racism in every country and every society in the world. To a lower degree, to a greater degree, more intense, less intense. It's all over. It's the way one group of people is looking at the other. Here, when I come here and I hear that the racism is central, of course it is central. You came out of an apartheid state into a different state, and you think about what is racism. You have your differences. You still have differences between whites and blacks, but you also have differences between blacks and other blacks. But this is how it is. Okay. It's all over.
Hold it there. Sally, you're calling us from around Gauteng. Sally? Oh, I'm sorry, it's Soli, I'm told. Soli, welcome to Question Time. Okay, we've lost Soli. All right, the number to dial, 089-110-4210, 089-110-4210. When we return, let's talk about the Yad Vashem and perhaps other concentration camps in your Germany and Poland, Treblinkas, and all those. This is Question Time.
Milk stout chocolate infused. Savor the moment. The crafted chocolate stout made to be savored responsibly by people over the age of 18.
Africa's tech scene is constantly coming up with innovative ways to answer some of the continent's problems.
We source content from social media, from our mobile apps, from our website.
And as people move from phone calls to data, companies have to switch what they offer.
People expect to get higher speeds, better quality broadband for less.
On Network, we have information on Africa's technology and social media scene. That's Network with Ms. Phumelele Zondi every Sunday at 9 p.m. Central African Time, only on SABC News.
Welcome back. You're still watching Question Time. Our guest today is Professor Dina Pogat. She's the chief historian of the Yad Vashem in Jerusalem. The number to dial 089-110-4210. Paul, you are in Polokwane.
Hey, how are you, my brother?
I'm well. Thanks for the call.
And the greetings to the guest in the studio.
Yes.
Yeah, my question is only one: is that what is the view? What is your view? What is the view of the guests in the studio about the people in South Africa wanting to calling for the criminalization of those who are perpetuating racism in South Africa? What is your take on this?
Okay, what is your take?
The
what is your take on the people here in South Africa who are calling for the imprisonment or criminalization of those who are perpetuating racism?
Well, that's a difficult question. I must congratulate your audience or your listeners on this question. It is a tricky question, and you know that there isn't still in the United Nations, they haven't yet reached a definition of racism according to which you could punish.
Okay.
Because you need a definition in order to have it in court convict, or legalize, etc. Now, the problem is that speaking in a racist way or in an anti-Semitic way or in any other way, in a derogative way about other people is or could be in some countries considered a freedom of speech. You can say what you like. In the United States, for instance, according to the First Amendment, there is freedom of speech. You have expressed your opinion. You have, and this is my answer to the person, and this is very difficult to do, to draw the line where it is between just expressing your opinion and between freedom of incitement. This is punishable. Okay? If you say, I think that black people are this and that, well, you expressed your opinion. But if you say black people are this and that, and I think we should act against them, that's incitement.
Hold it there. Solly, you're back. You're calling us from around Gauteng.
Yes.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. How are you?
We're well. Thanks for the call.
Okay. I just want to quickly put a perspective around the Jews, that the Holocaust, where they killed, when Hitler killed Jews.
Yes.
You see, the bottom line is, it is the same thing in South Africa. But then, you see, you must know that the Jews wanted to take Germany from the Germans. That is why they were killed in such a large number. Now, in South Africa, it is precisely the same thing.
Why were they then killed not only in Germany, Solly?
They want to take the African land and make it their own land, you see.
Okay, Solly, Solly, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
So why were they then killed not only in Germany?
The Jews?
Yes.
Yeah, they had to start from within a particular radius in Germany, because you see, the Jews, they owned everything. They owned the mines, they owned the buildings, the German buildings, they owned all manufacturing industries of the Germans. That is the reason why they had to kill those Jews, so that Germany must remain for Germans.
Okay, Prof, respond.
Germany, before the war, was a nation of about 70, 80 million people. There were a bit more than 500,000 Jews in Germany. So to think that this 500,000 owned everything, the mines, the newspapers, this is not only an exaggeration, it's simply not true to reality. There were a few rich Jews, there were many not rich Jews as in each society. But also, Mr. Solly, let's say that someone owns a company or owns a bank. Is this a reason to kill him? I'm sorry. This is a reason perhaps to take the bank from him, but not to kill him.
Now, why don't you Jewish people forgive?
Yeah.
You are dragging 98-year-old people to court over the Holocaust.
Yeah, I don't like it too. I must say, I am chief historian of Yad Vashem, and I know I don't like that as well. I must say that there is no pleasure at all in seeing a 90-year-old, a 95, 98, certainly 98. He was a Nazi. He killed Jews. We have not exactly forgiven. We have not forgotten. But we have relations with Germany.
Yes.
We have ambassadors. We go to Germany. We buy from them. They buy from us. We have very close relations. We have not exactly forgiven. We never said we forgive you for doing this. We did not forget. But we have relations, we go on. And thank you for bringing it up, because there is a certain similarity here between Israel and South Africa. Because after apartheid, you had a moment of reconciliation,
yes, the TRC, yes,
of appeasement that was very much admired in Israel. People were looking at that and saying, that's a really being
good to
noble.
have, but we're not going there.
No, we are. We have these relations with Germany that we didn't think 70 years ago that we would have. We were then very much anti-Germans, but now...
All is well. Okay, hold it there. Let's take Moses. Moses, you are in Limpopo.
Yes, I'm in Limpopo, yes, in Guinea.
Oh, okay, yes, I'm Amgela.
No, I can. So. What I want to ask your guest is, what's the difference between Hitler and the current state of Israel? Because they are killing, maiming kids, the same as Hitler did concerning the Palestinians.
Okay.
So the Palestinian question, what is your view? What's the difference between Hitler and themselves now?
Okay.
I'll listen on TV.
Thank you very much, but Moses.
Should I answer that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, there is a very basic difference. First of all, Hitler wanted to kill en masse the Jewish people and the Roma and the Slavs and the blacks and many others, and they have another world. We don't want to kill. Had we really wanted to kill all Palestinians? God forbid, God forgive you for saying that at all. We could have done so long ago, but we don't want to. We react when they attack us, when they come with knives, with stabbings. This mister perhaps has not seen the news as we see them. They are coming with knives and they are running cars over us, and then you react. We react in self-defense. But other than self-defense, we would love, and it was one of your questions, to have a two-state solution. They will have a state, and we will have a state. We have a state, and God willing, we will be good neighbors. But we are not. Hitler is the embodiment of evil. I invite this person to come to Israel, to see for himself. I'll give you or him a hint. You know that many millions of immigrants are now leaving Africa, Syria, Iraq, to go to Germany, Sweden, to good countries. No one goes out of the Palestinian Authority. No one goes out of Gaza.
Because you have locked them up.
What? No, not at all. They are not locked up.
Okay.
It's also a legend. You know that during military operations, Israel was crazy enough to stop for 2 hours every day and let trucks with food and medicine go into Gaza every day, because we are not against their population. We are only against their Hamas that are attacking us.
Okay.
Why don't they leave the Palestinian Authority? Because we let them live good lives, and they are in much of the area, they are independent right now. So I invite this person to come and see for himself how Israel is treating. You know that we are treating Palestinian children in our hospitals. You know that we take wounded people from Syria. When they get to our border and the wounded person is left on the border, hundreds of them are being taken care of for free in our hospitals. He should come and see for himself.
Now, you are in South Africa. What are you here to tell South Africans?
Well, I'm not in a position to tell anyone anything to do or to preach.
Yes.
We come, as we said, there are similarities between the countries. My husband, who is here with me, noticed in the airport that you have a rainbow, that you call yourself a rainbow nation.
Yes.
In Israel, we come from the gathering of the exiles. We call it from at least 100 countries, and we speak more than 100 languages. We speak Hebrew, but people speak more languages. So there are similarities. I'm here on International Holocaust Memorial Day to say that we are offering a point of view or a point in history and time from which one can start a dialogue, one can start a teaching, one can start speaking about racism that caused so much harm in the world. That's the message.
Okay, hold it there. Tapelo, very quickly, you are our last caller.
Hi. Chief, just thank you for letting me through. Just a quick one.
Yes.
I think there's something that, as the South African population, we need to take into account, including our syllabus, about how the Second World War unfolded and what happened there in a greater detail. I'm saying this because there was one of our students at Wits, and more recently there's been a civil servant making just wayward comments about Hitler and how he handled the Jews and coming out of the specter of the racism.
Yes.
And there's this recent caller. You've just got to know what suffering actually the Jewish people were actually put through. But then that does not make anything that they have been the kind of oppression that they've been meting out of towards against the Palestinians. It doesn't make that right either. It's as evil, it's as inhumane as what we were put through insofar as apartheid is concerned.
Tapelo, thank you very much. Unfortunately, we have indeed run out of time. Prof, your final thoughts, please.
Well, we landed this morning from Israel in Johannesburg, in the airport. It's my final thought. It's a fascinating place. We are looking around, we are learning, and we'd like, as I said, to have a dialogue with you and to go forward, if possible, to a more peaceful world with less racism.
Prof, thank you very, very much for the time. Unfortunately, it's only, a few minutes.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Okay.
That was Question Time for today. A big thank you to my guests and to you for watching the show. We can continue this discussion on Twitter. You can follow me at Mpo Tsedu. Let's continue the discussion. From me and the crew, you have yourself a wonderful time. Goodbye.
Milk stout chocolate infused. Savor the moment. The crafted chocolate stout made to be savored responsibly by people over the age of 18.
Morning Live sets the agenda for the day. We bring you the latest local and international news. We are on the ball with all your sports activities and results.
We give you the latest business update.
We bring you the latest weather every time.
Watch Morning Live every weekday morning at 6 o'clock, bringing you everything you need to know before you go. Shap shap, tada.
We make sure to bring you exciting entertainment news on trends. Ayanda, a vibrant South African movie told with love, passion and exceptional acting.
For Ayanda, at least, it says that we are heading in the right direction. South African films are growing and they are heading in the right direction to become international movies.
The Urban Art Festival artists brought back colour to old buildings of Johannesburg with their spray cans.
Festival to promote graffiti in Johannesburg and also to promote the Johannesburg inner city. But it brings a number of international artists